So this is it. We're here.
This has got a story. This is a 64 through 35. And Leo knew what he was doing.
Same year guitars.
They are. Here you go, folks.
Yeah.
This is cool. Well.
So anyway, you know, the phone just rang.
Yeah.
I got to tell you the story. This is crazy. Okay, so Elton runs the Covington store.
Sure.
And today we had to close because he isn't there. So my Cincinnati store, Scott calls me and says, there's a lady that's at the Covington store and she's got a 59 Les Paul. So I instantly say, what? Yeah, she drove and she's at the Covington store and she's got a 59 Les Paul. And I was like, well, and she says you guys are, she said that you have a close sign in. I was like, yeah, we're out of town. So, yeah, so I was like, well, call her back immediately and tell her to just come to the Cincinnati store. Because he said she's been waiting there an hour. He's like, well, we're not going to show up today. So he talks her into coming to the Cincinnati store. So that's why he was calling me. Well, it turns out it's a junior. So I don't feel too bad.
Okay, it's a red junior?
It's just a Sunburst Junior.
Oh, Sunburst. Okay.
She didn't know what it was.
Were they still making the Sunburst?
Yeah, they made some single cuts.
Okay.
That's late for a single
Yeah, I was going
cut.
to say, right, okay.
Yeah, anyway, that's what the phone call was.
This right here is... This has got a snake bite, so I'm sure that was... probably had a Bigsby on it, right? I guess at some point.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of these did originally, and then people just popped out the.
Yeah. I picked that up about 5 years ago. This is a great recording guitar. 62.
I just love these guitars.
You like these?
Yeah, 62 to 64. I think I might like better than dot neck sometimes.
Yeah. This has got PAS.
Yeah.
It records really good. Great sustain, plays good. Right now, you and I were having a conversation about strings on the phone. I think this may be strung up with those 9.5s. I've been toying with even more. I've been going 10 through 46 for years, Dario. But after reading different things, you know, we get on the internet looking at stuff like this, then we start overthinking stuff. Are they a little light too?
I don't know.
No, they're probably 9.5s.
I don't know. They're not.
Don't feel that bad.
No, I play 10 to 46 on everything.
Yeah.
You know, and you can on a Gibson. It's not. I can probably go lighter before I could a Fender. Personally, it's harder for me.
Fenders they'll kill you.
Yeah,
but.
Guitar.
Yeah, it's a good guitar. I've had this about 5 years.
You always keep a nice 335.
I try to.
Yeah.
There's been times when I didn't, and I always regret it. I always regret it. And it's a really. Our buddy Kevin found this for me. Actually,
well, he actually is a good source for these.
He's a good. He
loves them too.
He really does.
Yeah.
And right now he's not really into electric. So if he finds one, he'll tell us about it. You know.
Yeah.
He's more into the Martin thing now. You know, acoustic.
Is this a hot pickup? Is that why it's low, or do you just not use it very much?
Well, I love the front pickups on Gibsons, but they can go muddy sometimes. You know. And I was talking to, is it Rick Wheeler? It works with Larry Carlton and Robin Ford, and we had a conversation on the phone one day, and he said that a lot of times he has to lower those for Larry, you know, for his. And it can be a little muddy at times. Some pickups are a little more high-end than others, you know, on a humbucker.
They're pretty inconsistent. If you check the windings, I mean, I had them as weak as even 5.2.
Really?
Yeah, I actually had a gold top, which I sold at Johnson, and I think it was a 57. I think that might even have been the 5.2. It might have been 5.4. And that guitar still sounded great, and it wasn't like it was bad.
Right.
It was, you know, because sometimes you'll get half a coil or something. But yeah, I mean, they can do that, or they can go. I've seen them go all the way up to like 7.8.
Yeah, well, they probably go even hotter than that.
Yeah.
This is probably in the 7.5 range, more likely. Yeah. Now, Dickie Betts, I always heard his pickups were underwound. I always heard that. He had probably his touch, you know, and everything. Yeah. But I always wondered what a humbucker would sound like.
Yeah.
Well, I always wondered what one would sound like in the 6 range. So
Yeah.
going back to 5, I mean,
Yeah. Well, and another thing is, these things are getting older like we are, so the magnets are getting weaker. And
we are getting older.
The windings,
vintage guys and vintage guitars.
But this is cool, man. Thanks for showing it to me.
Oh, yeah,
I love
man.
it.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
awesome. This case is fascinating.
Well, it's fascinating. This is not anything real. This is my slide guitar. I'll tell the story. This guitar is thrown together. This is my slide guitar.
Oh yeah, I've seen you play this quite a bit though.
Yes. Well, this is a this guitar was gifted to me by Will Kelly, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. Anyway, he found this old melody maker in a pawn shop in North Carolina, and it was just rattled out for humbuckers, and somebody had basically just probably got a big hole up here.
Oh yeah.
So when he brought it to me,
weighs nothing.
yeah, it weighs nothing.
Yeah.
I immediately just tuned it to open E or whatever the headhunters were doing at the time, probably open G or whatever. And I went, man, this guitar is great for slide.
Yeah.
And we got talking about different things. And he
It's
said,
really not that different from the SG, which is like probably
That's right.
the guitar that everyone uses for slide, really.
that is the one.
Yeah.
That is the one. And he had this idea, this is plastic right here.
Okay.
And he said an idea about this laser printing.
Oh.
He said, if you had some designs on a guitar, what would you put on it?
Oh, that's
And
cool.
I said, well, let me think about it. So we come up with Sylvester Weaver. These are people from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Sylvester Weaver right here, who was the first slide player to ever commit a slide solo to a recording
Oh, neat.
back around 1928, I believe. He wrote Steel Guitar Rag, which was a slide guitar rag, I think, back then. And he's buried in Louisville. So he's on here. The great Merle Travis is on here. And then we got Bill Monroe.
Uh-huh.
We got Bill Monroe, you boys need to cut your hair. And John Brim, who wrote Ice Cream Man. These are all Kentucky people. So we got the fine state of Kentucky and where we are today,
Right.
South Central Kentucky. We got the state seal.
Yeah.
Then we got my band, the Kentucky
That's
Animals.
cool.
So it's all laser printed on there.
That's neat.
And it's just plastic. And then I found this that's a 72.
71 or 2.
71
yeah.
or 2.
Yeah, late 71 probably.
Humbucker. And
Yeah.
I use it for slide.
Yeah, man.
It's open E. There you
Well,
go.
yeah, when you think about it, I mean, this mahogany is the same mahogany that's on the burst.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
half of a
It's a half a burst.
$200,000 guitar. When
It's
you
a
think
half a
about it.
burst,
No wonder
yeah.
they sound good. I mean, that's
That guitar is a great slide.
probably the
guitar.
best tone wood ever made, really.
It really
It's
was,
the
man.
mahogany from that time.
And it was a great gift from Will, and it's just something I'll hang on to. When I'm done playing, I'll take it to the Kentucky Museum and put it on display.
That's cool.
But I still use it. It's on the road with me about every time we go out. Now I don't know if has that been refinished.
Well, interestingly enough, the neck has the original finish on it still,
I don't know about
but
that.
the body isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this guitar, when he got it, it was. I think the pawn shop just gave it to him because it was. They said, "Man, we can't."
Well, that's so nice of him. That's so cool.
So, however you want, you just grab whatever.
Okay, I just got a system going on.
That's an SG.
Since we're talking about SGs, let's do it.
64 SG.
Yeah.
I hadn't had too long. I have a love-hate relationship with SGs.
They're
time I hear
finicky,
it-
aren't they?
Yeah. Every time I hear one with like Eric Clapton play them with Cream, I go, God, that's just an amazing tone,
Yeah. Well, this is my favorite year, 64.
64.
Right?
Yeah. It came out of Ohio somewhere.
Yeah. Late 64 because it's got. Well, actually, it is nickel parts. So yeah, 64 probably.
64.
Yeah. The neck. That's a great neck. Do you like that?
Yeah, I do. I've had several SGs. I've had the Les Paul. I had a Les Paul SG that was 60, maybe a 62 or 63. What was last year? 63.
63. Yeah.
I had a 63. Had a huge neck on it.
Sideways trim.
No, it actually had.
Must have been the last one.
It was one of the last ones.
Yeah.
I wish I never got rid of it because it had that big old neck. I do like a big neck.
It was a custom.
No,
it was a standard.
It was a standard. It,
Yeah.
it faded. It was a little different fade than that one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. After I got rid of it, like we all do, we go, why did I get rid of it? I need an SG. So I was on the road a few years ago,
Yeah.
And this guy brought that to a gig.
Oh, right on.
That's the George Harrison year, right?
It
I
is.
guess,
It's
you know?
it's the good year, yeah.
Yes. It's a fun guitar.
Yeah, because this is the last of the wide nuts.
That's right.
And right before this, they're a little bit bigger around, but they're still the same width.
That's right.
And then 65, they start getting thinner.
That's right.
So,
Mid 65, I believe.
Yeah.
That's when they changed. And I never really paid any attention to that. I do now. I guess the price even is a little different when they
yeah.
go down, I guess.
It's a nice, clean guitar, Greg.
It is clean. It's clean.
I know somebody.
You know, when Eric
somebody
Clapton-
want this when you want to get rid of it.
Okay. You know, when Eric Clapton owned it, he really took good care of it. So that might make
Yeah, there you go.
$500.
We didn't paint
maybe.
this one anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to have to paint it for you right before I bring it up there for you, man.
And the original
I'll paint-
frets.
Instead of, you know, the Disraeli gears, I'm going to have like outhouses and cows on it, you know, like psychedelic cows.
Yeah, I like that. I already got cow in my
I
guitar.
probably need some, the frets need a little, what do you think?
The frets are great.
Are they?
I mean, they're original frets. The first guitar of yours that had.
So Clapton didn't
Everything
hurt them
else-
too bad?
Everything else they had to frets changed, but these are original.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep you in mind.
All right, that's a beauty there.
I don't know what else we got. We got,
Oh, there's a couple good ones left.
we got some more. Let's grab this one. Here you go.
Pretty sure Ed bought this for me, or at least the case for me.
Did he?
Yeah, because he got a couple 345s for me.
Yeah.
And then he asked me about a case for one he had. So I don't know if it's this case or not, but I think it is this case.
It probably was.
Yeah.
Probably was. Well, this belonged to Ed King, and it's a '64 ES345.
Did you buy this from
Needs
Carter's
friends.
when he put his
Yeah,
stuff in?
yeah. I actually did some swapping. We
Yeah.
did some trading.
I really wanted to get that telly back that he got for me, but it just wasn't the
Yeah.
right day for me. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, man.
This guitar right here, it's got. When I got it, I envisioned Freddie King, B.B. King. It sounded like the Beatles. It
Really?
sounded like George.
You know, George used a 345 on
I know he did.
a Day Tripper or something like that.
He sure did.
Yeah.
You start manipulating this baritone, it takes you into Beatle territory.
Interesting.
It's got a jangle thing about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've never really had a guitar to really do this. I think the frets maybe. I think it may need some frets. What do you think? Yeah, they feel okay, but when it does.
I mean, you know, I don't think they're that bad, but I could see why you might want to do it.
They feel a little. This guitar is not as. Well, I don't know why some guitars feel looser than others. You know what I'm saying? Some of them just have more of a slink. To
I know
them.
exactly what you mean.
And this one right here is just a little harder to play, but for the Beatle chordal thing, it's beautiful. The first time.
Do you think the top wrap affects that any? Do you think that affects the tension in an auto?
When I got it, that's how Ed had it, and I left it like that.
Yeah.
Originally, the first time I checked this guitar out was a couple months before I got it, and there was some handwritten notes that Ed had left in there about the guitar, and they weren't in there later. But it's okay. I got a picture of him holding it, you know.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good guitar. It's a great recording guitar. Very
Yeah, that's
clean.
cool.
Very clean.
Way cool.
You know.
Good old Ed, man.
Yeah, we
What a
miss
good
Ed.
cat. Yeah.
You and Ed were really good friends.
We were well. You know. Yeah, he was good to me. He was a good dude.
Yeah. Ed was very up front, as you know.
Oh yeah.
Whatever's on Ed's mind, he's going to tell you. He didn't hold anything back, and we got along good. I thought the world of him.
So when he left Skinner, you took over for him, right? Did
Well-
you take his spot?
What happened? I met Ed probably about I met you about the same time at the '92 Dallas Guitar Show.
Yeah.
Kevin Woods called me and said, "Now I'm in Dallas," and me and Steve Wilson were in Memphis doing something with the Headhunters, doing something for the Memphis Horns. And me and Steve said, "Well, let's just drive to Dallas, get a room."
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed was there. First time Ed was there. And so I got there, showed up to the guitar show, very first guitar show, and I was hooked after that. 92.
That was your first, that's like around my first guitar show too.
First show.
90, 91, 92.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
my first
yeah,
Dallas
I'm
show,
sure I
actually.
met you. I'm sure I met
Isn't
you.
that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, anyway, so I met Ed. Well, Ed got wind. We'll pull Hank in a minute. Ed, I took Hank down, the 58.
Uh-huh.
We might as well bring Hank up.
Yeah.
Ed heard that one of his old bursts had showed up, and he freaked out because he thought it was Red Eye.
It was stolen still at
It
that
was still
point.
stolen.
Yeah.
So he thought, oh, I found it. But when he saw it, he went, oh no.
Yeah.
He knew the story then.
Yeah.
Basically on that. But,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting angle I get.
So I met Ed at that guitar show,
Yeah.
and we become buddies. And then, he liked the Headhunters a lot. He said he was in the shower one day, and he heard us on Farm Aid, and we kicked into Wishing Well. He said, I about broke my neck getting out of the shower to see who that was. And he said, let me ask you something. Are you guys a rock band or a country band? I said, well, we're a rock band, but we're from the country. He said, that's right. That's what you are.
Yeah.
And then about a month later, he called me and left a message on the answer machine. I was out mowing my yard. He said, look, man, I broke my finger. There's some dates I can't do with Skinner. Would you be interested in coming out and playing a little bit of my stuff? Of course, at that time, now I would think, Ed, I don't think I could do it. Back then, when you were younger, you go, oh, sure, Ed. And we were off. You think,
Oh, it was just good timing too.
it was timing.
Yeah.
Timing was right. So I went out and played 3 weeks with them. And
I thought you did a whole tour, but you actually only played 3 or 4 shows.
no, 4 weeks. It was
okay.
about 11.
Oh.
It was 11. It was a leg of a tour.
Yeah.
And I probably could have done more with them, but the Headhunters had to get back on the road.
Gotcha.
I never could do what Ed did.
Well, you did your own thing.
I did my own thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
Ed couldn't do what you did.
I told Ed even maybe a couple years before he passed. I said, "Man, I appreciate you. You didn't have to let me come do that because I never could cop his stuff,
Oh boy.
And here's old.
Oh boy.
Here's Hank.
Oh boy.
This belonged to Ed and Hank Jr. As you know. You
Yeah.
know the story about this. So anyway, when Ed saw this guitar, and it's already beat the crapping back now. When Ed saw it, he said, God, I can't believe how much you've played that guitar. I said, well, I love it. This is a 58 Les Paul. It belonged to, we don't know. There's a King crown. I don't know if you can get a shot of this. We're trying to figure out the history of this guitar, the exact. Somebody supposedly in Ohio owned this guitar, and they may have been a gospel group. And there's a kind of a cool gospel-y.
Yes.
Maybe it's gospel-y. I don't know.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the King.
The King.
Yeah.
So Ed took this in. The best I remember, Ed took this in on trade. But when he got it, he had Red Eye already. And so he didn't really want it. So he took it to Gruen's and sold it, I guess, eventually.
Okay.
Because somebody sent me a picture from Gruen's sometime in the 80s. Of this guitar in the case, and then the other burst in the case is the guitar that Paul McCartney now owns.
Oh, the lefty. Okay.
You know
I thought
something
that
about
came
that.
out of Pittsburgh or something.
I think did he end up going to Gruen's?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
Paul might have 2.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But anyway, this guitar went through Gruen's, and
Yeah. As many do.
that's right.
Yeah. The Sebastian burst. went through that
I
a few times.
remember.
Yeah.
I remember. We could have got that.
I know.
I love that guitar.
I did
That was the
too.
first burst I ever saw was the Sebastian burst.
Man, what a
I saw the Love and Spoonful in '66.
Yeah.
He was
I
fun.
really wanted that guitar, but at the time, because the headstock issue or whatever.
Yeah,
I
it
just-
was a mess.
Yeah, it was a mess. Yeah.
So Gibson put it back together, of course.
is that what happened?
Yeah. That's been changed. I've got the
Yeah.
original one at home. But what happened, I'd be playing out with it and the saddles would fall out whenever I broke a string and the keys have been changed. But other than that, it's all there,
So here's what I love about these guitars. He's got a little color tonight. He's got a little color.
It's got a little
tonight.
color.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
does.
but
Yeah.
usually
If
when
you
I
take-
see this guitar live with you, it looks completely washed.
Some people think it's a gold top.
Right, but it's got some color going on.
And if you take this off, if you take that off, it's still got the red underneath.
Yeah.
And I'll show you one of the, not the prototype, but I'll show you one of the CC15s here in a minute.
Oh, cool. And this is probably 4th time I've held this guitar,
Yeah.
maybe. Today, it likes this light. I mean, it's not completely plain.
No.
I mean, it's got some burl. It's got a little bit going on.
Hank loaned it to me for about 3 or 4 months. When I took it back on the bus, me and our manager, Mitchell Fox, we were playing Starwood in Nashville, and Hank it was his birthday, and he was partying. And I took the guitar back on the bus and said, man, I just need to give this back to you. He said, well, Greg, you surely can afford one of those now. I never could, you know. Yeah. And he said, oh, just keep it. Just keep it. Man. And I took it. I mean, what was it going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to turn Hank Jr. down.
No.
What was his buddy's name?
He would have given it to you anyway. Yeah, that's good.
What was our buddy's name that just passed away about 3 years ago? Dewey?
Dewey.
Dewey knew the story. He said Hank told him, he said, that I came back on my bus, said, did you really just give this to me? I can't remember. but I've had it. I've had it since 90, I guess.
Well, you used it on everything, right?
Yeah. I use it a lot. It records well. And it's still, it's never...
the neck's not giant. It's
my
my 58 gold tie. Yeah, it's way more like a 59.
How many bursts you got now?
I got 4 now. Wait.
I know you had it.
I've got 4 right now. Yeah. I got rid of the 60s. I had 2 60s I got rid of just because I never was a super fan of the tiny neck and the tomato soup. That color always kind of bugged me.
I don't like it now. I know. Now back in the 70s it didn't bother me, but now that we know, that we
the clown burst is not my favorite. I got rid of those.
And, years ago, before I knew you real well, we were down at the Dallas Guitar Show, and I was sitting outside, and you walked up to me and said, "You want to sell your burst?" I'm like, "No." You looked at me real funny. I thought, "Oh God, I made him mad."
Oh no, you can't make me mad. I'm immune.
I know that now.
Yeah.
And I said, "No, I don't want to sell it."
Yeah, that's cool. You might have been sitting there with it or something.
I could have been.
Well, thanks for showing it.
Oh, hey.
Hey, you want to get the other one out beside it?
Yeah. Now let me tell you.
Okay.
This is the not the prototype. I keep saying prototype, but it looks like the prototype. Back around 2014, Gibson did a run of 300 of these. You had one for a while, right?
Yeah, they did mine.
Now, I don't have the knobs on this one, I'm sorry.
Oh.
And it's a lot heavier. It's a lot heavier than that one. This right here is a CC15. As you can see, basically, if you took the pick guard off, and I left it off for that reason, the red is still underneath. And it's the same way on that one. And basically, they've done the same kind of aging. This has got, it's similar, I guess.
It's close, yeah.
Close. The Proto was even closer.
Yeah.
Remember the Proto?
Because you were involved with it.
I was involved.
The Protos on these guitars, the farther away you get from the first
You know
ones.
the story. Of course you do.
The same way with mine.
Now, they never done the full 3 on mine either. Did they do your full 3?
I have the prototype and I bought number 1. So
But did they do the full 300 run?
Oh, I don't think so. No.
No, they did. They got up to about 240 on mine. Then they discontinued the CC.
I don't even know where it ended because the bankruptcy. I got cut off, so I don't know what happened at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
There was
mine was the last one.
Was yours the last
I think
one?
it's pretty sure it was the last one.
Of course, I don't have my glasses. Maybe you can see better than I can. I'm sorry.
CC 15.
Which number is it? It's
132, I think.
It could be like 130. This is
133. 132.
I've got. So this, it's a good guitar. I've got the knobs off of it right now. I'm just do some cleaning on it, so I got to put them back on. But I mean, it's a good project. You've done it.
Oh yeah. I felt super blessed to be part of that, and honestly, that happened because of you, Greg. Thank you so much. I mean, actually, you and Ed helped me a lot.
Oh yeah, Ed went through this.
You held my hand through the process, and because it was quite a process.
You were getting frustrated too, a little bit.
Well,
right?
they were going through a lot, and it took almost 3 years.
Oh,
it's about 9.5, isn't it?
It's way up there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably not close to 10.
They're all over the map. What is that one, about 8 something?
I think this is right under 9, yeah.
Right under 9.
9's pretty average on a burst.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, people now are going for that. They're wanting the real light ones.
Which is goofy.
Yeah.
I mean, people call me up and have me weigh things all the time. Yeah.
Well, a lot of us old people are like, going, come on, man, you got something light for me. But anyway, we were blessed to have our guitars, you know, part of the program, so to speak. So there you go. That's you know, I've got that.
I really like how they did the binding on this one. It looks really good. That looks really good.
Some of them bled, didn't they?
Yeah.
Some of them bled.
Yeah.
This one's not bad. This is not bad at all.
Well, you know, I love Gibson. It's still my favorite company, and I think this was one of the coolest things they ever did in the history of the company.
I think the CCs they're kind of collectible, aren't they?
I would think so. Yeah,
I think they should be. Yeah. I don't know what kind of strings are on it because
I'm pretty sure that Ed sold off his prototype too before he passed, and
did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna actually take that one on the road. I'm gonna have to work my muscles up a little bit.
Have you retired, Hank? Are you still using
close gigs in the studio? Yeah. I don't take Hank out on the road. The crew guys is scary. I did take Hank out. We played Songbirds Museum, the little theater.
Yeah.
Back about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I took Hank out for that, and
well, there's a few good guitars already there, isn't there?
Yeah.
That place is so cool.
Yeah, they got a few things.
Yeah.
So we'll get this one back out.
Yeah.
And we'll pull out some more. Let's see. The King Crown. So if anybody knows the story about this case, again, I want more information. I want to know who actually had this before Ed King. Because if it belonged to a gospel group, I think that's a pretty cool story.
It's a way cool story.
Brothers and sisters, if you want to see this ministry go forward, send your tithes and offerings to Brother Greg at P.O. Box 795.
You play that in church too, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. I saw your video last week. The whole Marshall stack.
And actually,
I know you're probably not really doing it there.
No, I loaned it to him for a youth rally. Yeah. I do have a Marshall at church, you know, but I don't know which one's in that case. That's either going to be the.
Oh, it's like
it could be this.
It's like Christmas.
I believe that's a 74, actually. I want to get your advice on that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look it over.
Yeah, it's 74. You know these guitars better than I do. So, that's a 74, but the mystery is, now maybe you know something I don't already.
Single string tree?
Well, I mean, this one, when I bought it, they said, hey, it's dated 74, but we can't figure out why it's got one string through it. Man. It don't play bad, does it?
It's lively, isn't it?
It is. It's a good guitar.
I remember I was talking, because Ed did Sweet Home on a 72 or 3 or something.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Now, he kind of docked.
He didn't like
He didn't really like that guitar.
He told me it was like the worst guitar ever.
I know. The man, you know Ed, I love Ed because Ed wanted to be a Les Paul guy. But he had one of the best Strat tones. He knew how to get a Strat sound.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know. Yeah,
I mean, maybe it's just a 72. I mean,
you think it could just be a leftover 72?
It's a 3,000. You know, a 33.
So what do you know about that?
33,000 number. I mean, it could be. First off, I take all this stuff with a grain of salt. The serial numbers in this time period. Okay. I mean, that's probably 73 number somewhere in there, just from memory. But you know, maybe it's a 72 guitar.
I wish it was. That'd be the year I graduated.
Yeah. Well, first thing I would do is just look at the pots.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's got a 5-way, which I assume you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the Strats have 5-ways, of course.
I really do like that guitar. Now,
it's got a great neck.
It does have a good neck. Now, are they smaller here than normal, or is that normal for that kind of?
That feels smaller than normal.
A little small.
Yeah. I mean, we'll pull out the black one that I brought.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's an A neck. And maybe that's why it doesn't have a string tree and it is a 74. And somebody ordered this neck a different size. So there'll be a number down there.
So they may have had some A necks just set aside. Well, so what is the A neck, the smaller neck?
Yeah, smaller neck.
So what do they have, A, B, and C?
Yeah, this is also a weird time period where sometimes they have different numbers at the end and it's kind of hard to tell and they're not always stamped the same way, but you know, it could be earlier than you thought, or it could be ordered with this neck.
I got you.
And here's something interesting about the rosewood neck ones. On the maple neck ones, this time period are kind of, I call them, fret free. Like the maple neck ones, they sprayed lacquer on the fretboards. And when they did that, it sort of almost gives it a scallopy kind of feel.
That's right.
Because there's so much poly on the necks, the frets get smaller. But they never did that to the rosewood ones. So the rosewood neck ones, and to my taste, always feel much more like the older guitars.
Right, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
Well, not only just because they're rosewood, but
They do.
But
As far as I know, that was our. I mean, this was our like this. There hadn't been any relicking done or anything.
Where's that other guitar? Let me grab it. I think it's over here.
So I just want to. When I saw you had that, I just wanted to kind of compare them.
You know what? This guitar sounds great.
I bet it does. But these are the Richie Blackmore years, right? Did he?
I mean, honestly, these guitars I think usually sound really good.
Did Richie play like this kind of era?
Yeah, he did. Actually, quite a few people did.
Yeah, I mean, there's no.
Yeah.
God, that's yeah.
I mean, does the neck feel smaller to you? This feels smaller to me.
Maybe a. I bet it rings, don't it?
It does. It actually sounds really good.
Got the.
Yeah.
Is that original black?
It is original black. Yeah.
That's a cool color.
Yeah, and like I was saying, the poly over the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes the frets.
So the frets they're not bad on here.
They're actually not that bad, but sometimes they are.
They can.
They can be really bad.
Yeah, I was just.
Does the neck feel the same to you?
Very similar, don't they?
It might just be an earlier guitar than you thought.
It could be.
Is this the case that you got in?
That right there, that case right there, is probably not the original case.
It's a 64 case.
That is 64 case right
no
there.
logo, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, what could have happened though?
Switched it.
Maybe the case. That's a 65 Strat.
Yeah, this is the case for that guitar.
Okay, that's what it is. I believe. Do you think I could be like a 72? Maybe?
Oh, it definitely could be. I mean, I've never seen a 74.
I think the neck maybe just a hair, just a little smaller on it, maybe just a hair smaller.
That one?
Do you think?
Maybe thinner, but a little wider maybe.
Yeah, a little
This
wider.
is kind of narrow at the nut.
Need a bar. Yeah, that's 65 right there.
Yeah.
I don't know what era 65 it is, but
Well, it's a transition year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going towards the 66 color.
yeah, that's right.
You get
that's
that
right.
yellow color.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still small headstock.
Small headstock.
Transition logo.
Yep.
Pearl dots instead of clay.
That's not a bad. That's a good sounding. I mean, they all sound pretty good. I
Yeah.
think, for the that's. I've had lots of Strats over the years, and sometimes I play Strats more. And sometimes I don't. But I ended up getting rid of a few Strats a few years ago. I mean, I had like everything from 59s up to 64s. And you know how it is. You go into another direction. But I ended up kind of hanging on to that. And I found that in Louisville. And
It's a cool guitar. I like it.
It is pretty cool.
That's my favorite time period for him, actually.
Really?
Is I like the rosewood necks, single string trees. Because it's weird, from late 67 to 72, there's not many Strats.
There's not.
For some reason, 66, there's 66 back, there's a million of them. And then once you hit past 73, start happening again. And I don't know why. You would think that would be the Hendrix period, and it would be
You would think when Hendrix hit,
Yeah.
but that's also true with the Les Paul. When I'm sure you've had this conversation with Mr. George before.
Yeah.
In 67, 68, he said people would call him from overseas, "Do you have a Les Paul?"
Oh yeah, La Paul, yeah.
A Les Paul. And you would think that when the Les Paul craze hit, they would, instead of coming out with a burst, they come out with a gold top and a custom.
Basically, they came up with a gold top, which was a 56 style guitar, and called it a 54 or something, right?
Yeah, right.
Something goofy like that.
Yeah. So anyway.
But since we're talking about that, I brought this guitar to show you. Right?
Gosh. Where'd you get this?
This guitar I bought from a friend who had a collection. It's getting up in years, like a lot of collectors are now.
Oh, that's nice.
And 68.
What?
Yeah.
That's first year, right? Is it?
Yeah, first year for the reissue, basically.
Yeah, right.
And it's pretty much mint.
God,
It's pretty much a mint guitar.
Yeah, it is.
We do this show called Fret Buzz, which I kept trying to get you to come up with.
I know.
But I'm glad this is way better. But
No,
I took that.
I still want to do Fred.
Yeah, I took it to the show, and for some reason, it was never chosen by the artists. And I'm not sure why, but I actually just think it's maybe because it looks like a new guitar.
I think
Yeah, you know what I mean?
we're all wanting guitars with
Yeah.
Well, as Eric Clapton says, you know, a guitar that's beat up and played, he says, it's like going to a restaurant. You see a lot of cars around it, you know it's a good restaurant when you find a guitar that's been played a lot. I'm not saying it's a bad guitar,
Right.
but you know, a lot of
Sure.
the guitars that are played,
Yeah.
there's a reason, you know.
Yeah.
That would be a great collector's guitar for somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is.
It's the cleanest one I ever
What's
had.
that weigh in now?
I'd say it's 9.5.
9.5.
Yeah, maybe close,
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Those guitars have got a tone.
Oh, these sound great.
The notes jump out.
It's a great neck too.
Yeah.
It's a great
Yeah,
neck,
it is.
and
It is.
you know all the
Well,
features
what-
of the '68.
Now, why are they a little heavier during that period right there? Is it the? I know it's not the ebony neck. What is it? Why are they a little? I mean, I had 173 custom that wasn't that heavy. That was probably.
Most of the time they are heavy though.
Yeah, I had one.
Yeah.
But why are they heavier? What's the deal? What's the deal?
I actually think that it was
Because
the
music was
beginning
heavy?
of people wanted heavy guitars.
Is that it?
And I don't know if you remember that, but people thought guitars sustained more. So I thought, you know, maybe they were.
What's the definitive answer on that?
Well, I got a guitar from a friend of ours, Howard Lease, a '56 Les Paul. And it was the heaviest Les Paul I've ever had in my life.
And it sounded great.
It was amazing sounding guitar. It was like the best sounding guitar I've ever had as far as a '56 Gold Top goes. And that's a weird year, '56, at least for me. It's hard to find one that I almost like the Raps better, because you know that's when they're P90s and Tune-o-matics and stops. And that time period between late '55 and '57, before they got humbuckers.
Yeah.
I never really had one I fell super in love with too much. But anyway, that guitar sounded amazing. Sounded absolutely amazing.
Me and you had
Yeah.
a Dallas one year. What was that black custom you had? Did you have a two pickup custom down there?
Yeah, I have a two-pick. I still have that guitar.
You still got that guitar?
Two pickup '58. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't think it was that heavy, was it?
No, that was light.
It's light.
That was light. It's a
Of course-
'57. It's got a Bigsby on it, and it's like this. It's like mint.
And you also had at Dallas one time you've had several of them. I'm sure you had a three pickup down there as well.
Yeah, and I bought a Mickey Baker there that I had prearranged.
Mickey
A
Baker.
Mickey Baker, which is it's a 3 pickups with 3 knobs. You ever seen one of those?
No.
Yeah, you should look it up. And it has a master volume in 3 tones.
It's a Gibson.
Yeah.
Mickey Baker.
Joe played it at one of his shows. He loves that guitar. I think he got one after that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
We
called
know
Mickey
Mickey was
Baker.
from Louisville, right?
I forgot that
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Mickey Baker.
Yeah, and they made a 3P90 one too.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
That's a very beautiful guitar. I'm glad you brought
Yeah.
that. I had it when I graduated from high school in 1972. My dad bought me a brand new Les Paul Custom, and I was working at Rush's Market in Edmonton in 1972, and we bought it from some place called Freeport Music out of New England. Freeport Music, I believe. I don't know. Back in
Well, there was a
those-
Freeport Music in Freeport, West Virginia, right there by Wheeling somewhere.
It could have been,
Yeah.
you know, now that I think it was, they were advertising in the back of Hit Parader magazine or one of a Rolling Stone or something. And my dad, I don't think he paid, but like $250, $300 something for it, which was a lot of money back then.
And those are the guitars you miss because that's
I miss that
you
guitar.
whatever.
I'll tell you
happened-
what, I miss that guitar really bad.
What happened to that?
There's a couple of things. Sometime in the 70s, it was laying on the bed one day, and I had this friend, kind of a heavy-set guy. He comes and plops down on the bed, and the guitar goes, wham, and it goes flying off the bed, and it put some bad places there and up there. It didn't break the neck.
Oh wow.
Well, back in the 70s, the last thing you wanted a guitar that looked just like that. I didn't want a guitar that was
Yeah.
beat.
Yeah.
But now, since I'm beat now, I want a guitar like me, you know?
Yeah.
I'm beat up.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And after that, I was just like,
It just soured you on it. It's
soured
just
me
like
on
you,
it.
every time you looked at it, you saw that and thought about it.
And I got into the Strat kick, and somebody offered to trade me a Strat and some money or something for it, and I ended up trading it in Louisville. And I can't remember. Of course, the Strat, I have no idea where it went.
Yeah.
But I've been looking for that guitar. It's a Les Paul custom. It could be a 71. I mean, it could be a 71 that they had in stock, and it could have.
Did it have the
That I can't remember. I don't remember it having. I thought it just had the plain.
Probably was a 71 then.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was
A lot of the 72s have the embossed.
Yeah, that's right. They
Yeah.
do. They do. And it would have there'd be some bad, like a bad hit up here.
It was black?
Black.
Black one, yeah.
Yeah. And it seemed like it kind of cracked it up there at the top too. And I probably took the pickup covers off and on all the time. I'd see people.
You bought it in 72?
My dad bought it in '72.
And it was new?
It was new. It was new.
Okay. Well, it could be a 71 set around. Things set
I
around
wonder,
too.
do Gibson have records of that? Nah, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's hard to get that done.
Yeah.
Hey, would you mind playing a little bit? Maybe playing Hank? Go through something?
No,
Maybe try out
wouldn't.
the Bandmaster or something?
Oh yeah, we can do that. I'll probably just take this booger. And it belonged to Eric Clapton too. Everything.
Came with that SG?